Raise your hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony about to give the truth and matter now pending shall be the truth and whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Okay. Have a seat for me, and once seated, if you would please state and spell your true and correct legal name for the record.
My name is Heather Falkowski, and that's HeatherFalkowski.
Good morning, Ms. Falkowski. Just before you start with your statement, if you'll indicate to the court kind of your relationship with Amber and Justin.
Amber was one of my best friends since we were 13.
Perfect. So at this time, I'll ask that you give your statement.
Your Honor, thank you for allowing me the chance to speak. Amber was, like I said, one of my best friends since we were 13. For 2 decades, she was stitched into every season of my life. Homecomings, prom, spring breaks at the beach, weddings, baby showers, and so much more. Sorry. She was the kind of friend you expected to have forever, Justin too. Amber and Justin were not just good people, they were extraordinary ones. Amber was loyal, selfless, funny, and had a heart of gold. She cared deeply about people. She had a way of making everyone around her feel valued and warm. Justin shared that same goodness. He wasn't just a wonderful husband and father, he was a firefighter. He spent his life walking towards danger so others could walk away from it. He gave his days, his energy, and his courage to protect people he would never meet. He lived his life in service to others. When my first son was born, Amber took the time to knit him this teddy bear. Since her death, I've had another son. He's actually the exact age Jacob was that night, and he will never have a teddy bear made by Amber. One of my children has something from her hands. The other will only ever have stories. One of the heaviest burdens I carry is knowing that Amber's last ordinary moment was spent texting me and another friend as we made dinner plans. It was something we had done countless times. It felt so small, so normal. I didn't know that her response would be the last time I would ever hear from her. The next morning, as I was decorating my Christmas tree, my life was suddenly split between before and after. Since their deaths, the world feels dimmer. The grief is emotional, but it also lives in my body. It's the ache of reaching for my phone to tell my friend something and remembering she is gone. It is sitting in silence on days that should have been filled with laughter. It's dinner at Olive Garden with her seat left empty. It's the sharp, disorienting pain of knowing 2 people who should still be here are not. Not a single day has passed that I have not thought about them. And alongside this grief is trauma. I needed therapy to process their horrific murders. I cannot sit in my living room at night unless the outside lights are on because darkness now feels dangerous. My husband has to tell me anytime he's on his way home because the sound of someone entering our home makes me panic. This violence stole my sense of safety in my own home. But the greatest loss belongs to Jacob. Jacob lost his entire world in one night. He will grow up without the mother who adored him in every way a child deserves to be adored. He will never feel her arms around him after a hard day. He will never hear her voice cheering him on, never get the whispered reassurance that she loved him more than anything. And he lost his dad, who was strong, kind, devoted, and very brave. A father who ran into burning buildings so other families could stay whole. He will miss out on lessons, moments, memories, and love that no one else can ever replicate, though I know his grandparents will all do a fantastic job. After all, they raised Amber and Justin. The loss that Jacob carries is lifelong. It will shape every milestone, every birthday, every achievement, and every heartbreak. There is no justice on earth that can give him back what was taken. Amber and Justin were stolen from their son, their families, their friends, and from the future they deserved. They deserved to grow old. They deserved ordinary mornings and long years watching Jacob grow up. They deserved to give Jacob a sibling, something they deeply wanted. They deserved safety, peace, and a lifetime together. I hope this court understands the full weight of what this world lost when Amber and Justin were taken from us. Justice cannot restore what was broken, but it can honor the truth. And the truth is that two extraordinary people were taken from us, and the ripple of that loss will continue for the rest of our lives. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just to correct myself prior to Ms. Volkowski, obviously gave her statement by herself, but this next one is Audrey Logan, Michelle McGinnis, and along. Just Amanda Creel. I apologize. So at this time, the state would move to tender what's marked as State's Exhibit Sentencing 1, which is located on this master drive here. And it's an audio recording of Amanda Creel's statement, and her name is spelled Amanda, and then Creel, Creel.
Great. Attorney Barry.
We don't have any objection to that, Judge. We went over that this morning.
Thank you. States 1, sentencing is admitted.
Thank you, Judge. Mayor Charles?
Yes.
Just for the court, it's just an audio statement,
Okay.
not a video.
Okay.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Amanda Creel. I originally wasn't going to speak today, but Wednesday during our break, I had an overwhelming feeling that I needed to talk to you today. I never imagined that I would be standing in a courtroom talking about my best friend and her husband. About how they were senselessly murdered and taken away from us. The people that have been sitting with me this week and the others over Zoom are some of the most important people in Amber and Justin's life. This week has reignited our pain, the pain that was caused by heinous actions of the defendant. Amber and Justin were my friends, but I've known Amber since the 5th grade. She was my best friend. I grew up with her. I was supposed to grow old with her. That was taken away from me. I could tell you countless silly stories about Amber and I. There were stories about homecomings, chorus, boyfriends, sleepovers, and breakups. And that was just 5th grade through high school. As we grew older, it was about college classes, jobs, boys, karaoke. But boy, could that girl sing. I would love to hear her sing in person again. Instead of through old videos, that's all I have left. Videos and pictures and memories. It was through Amber that I met Justin. The day Amber introduced Justin to me. She was nervous. But one full drink ended up being 10 years of a friendship with my Justina. That's what I call them sometimes. We actually went on a cabin trip, and I encouraged them to stop being stubborn and just finally say I love you. And when they got engaged, she called me at work to tell me that they were engaged. Justin had forgotten to text me, so I missed it. I still bring it up to him when I go to visit him at his grave. I told him I would never let him live that down. My mom hosted their engagement party and helped me plan their wedding shower. We helped get decorations and favors ready for the wedding, and I got to see her try on her wedding dress. And when they finally got married, I was their maid of honor and stood by their side, crying with joy. That day was perfect. And then finally, one Christmas, I had a picture from him saying, "Best friends get ready to dance." She was pregnant with Jacob. We talked on the phone every day on our commutes to and from work during her pregnancy. And boy, was she feisty. I just knew he was going to be a boy. But I hope one day she would be able to have a Disney princess too. I hope to be there the day Jacob was born. I have so many memories of them. But no new ones, because they're not here anymore. They're gone now. I can't be there today, but Audrey and Michelle are there for me, for her dad, for our friends, for our little village. The three of us have been friends with Amber for over 20 years, and Justin for 10 years. We had to call each other about our friend's murders on November 17th, 2021. This devastated us. Our friends were gone. We spent days on the phone, constantly trying to understand how the horrible thing could happen like that to such amazing people. Amber and Justin had the best hearts and were so kind and loving. Why did this happen? How did this happen? We laughed and cried talking about them. We had to fill in for Amber, for one another. Our trauma and loss bonded us. We decided one day that we were trauma sisters and that Amber chose good people to be her friends. She chose us so we could have someone to lean on when she was gone, because somehow she knew we needed it. On November 17th, 2021, our lives were fractured into a before and an after. Before, we had Amber and Justin. We had long conversations, hugs, singing, and dancing. We had plans together for dinner, birthdays, weddings, and Christmas. We had our lives together as friends and family. After we found out about the murder, all that ended. We were stuck with the after. They're never going to be able to talk to us again. No more hugs, no more singing, no more dancing, no more birthdays, no more plans, no more celebrations, no more Amber and Justin. Our friends are gone, shot and killed in their home. We had to move on without them. I got married without Amber and Justin by my side. I went to Michelle's wedding in their place. Audrey adopted 2 beautiful baby girls that we got to meet, but Amber and Justin will never meet. She will never meet my children. Our lives will never be the same because their souls were too good to be replaced. We will forever live with that hole in our hearts. The defendant didn't just take our friends' lives. He stole our sense of security. We now have lights, security systems, and fear. Fear for our safety, fear for our random noises, fear that we never had before this incident. On November 17th, 2021, Amber and Justin left their son because they were shot and killed while he was sleeping upstairs instead. Jacob was left alone for 12 hours, soiled and alone. But he will never be alone again, because every person in this courtroom will ensure that he has the closest thing to a life the defendant tried to take from him. He will never be an orphan. Your Honor, we ask you to sentence the defendant to the maximum sentence. This man deserves to stay behind bars for all the trauma and loss he has caused. We hope you consider our request when you make your decision on his sentence. Thank you for your time.
For the record, we've played the state's sentencing one in its entirety. Now, finally, Heather Folkowski. No. Sorry, I apologize. Audrey Logan and Michelle Williams.
Do y'all want to come up here or stand there, whichever ones y'all are comfortable with?
Do you solemnly swear upon something testimony you're about to give in court and matter of something shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
So if I'll just have, I'll start here on the right. If you'll just introduce yourself, spell your name for the court reporter, and then we'll go down the line.
It's Michelle McGinnis, MICHELLE, MCGUINNESS.
Sorry, I'm Audrey Logan, AUDREYLOGAN.
Matt Logan, MATTLOGAN.
I'll start with Michelle. At this time, if you, or whoever wants to give one first.
First. Your Honor, my name is Audrey Logan, and Amber and Justin were my husband and I's best friends. My husband Matt and I have known Amber for as long as we can remember. I'm talking elementary days when she refused to let Matt eat lunch alone and even shared her food with him. Not only did we attend elementary, middle, and high school together, but we played softball together for many years. We joke because I had a bad habit of being angry after striking out or getting out on base, and we'd come back to the dugout to sulk where she knew I didn't want to be talked to, but she'd always be like, "It's okay, girl, you got this." She was not going to stand for me being in a bad mood or being too hard on myself. We became even closer after our high school days, though, and that's when she introduced Matt and I to Justin. I vividly remember that day because Matt's not a people person. He just isn't. He was so concerned that he was just going to be like everybody else and we would be biting our tongues all night. But the day they met at Patty's, this forever ingrained in my brain. That's the day that him and Justin became inseparable. I truly never imagined the day that one day I would stand in front of a courtroom full of people and talk about two of my favorite people in the past tense. That I'd sit here hand in hand with some of their most favorite people reliving the absolute horror that happened on November 17, 2021. Reliving a pain that has no end due to choices that monster made that night. My life will now always be separated into before and after. On September 17, 2021, I went to bed, excited for the weekend plans I just made with Amber this year at church. I hadn't seen her since Halloween night when we took our babies trick-or-treating together. After that, my daughter and I came down with RSV, so I kept my distance away from everyone. A few days earlier, she came to my house knowing she wouldn't be able to see me in the middle of her busy schedule just to leave a care package. That's the type of person she was. We were excited to be able to get back to church and see each other. The very last text that I ever received from her said Sunday with an exclamation point, because we knew we would see each other again in just 4 days. On November 18th, I woke up, planned to do some Christmas shopping, so I texted her to ask if Jacob had a Christmas list so I could get the stamp of approval on my gift idea. She never received that message, and I would never get a response. See, that was before my worst nightmare came to life. My best friends murdered in their home. Their lifeless bodies left in their home. Their son confused why mommy and daddy won't make us. He just left them there like they didn't matter. And like Jacob didn't matter. But they mattered. They weren't just our best friends. They were our daughter's godparents. They were a family. They came beside me and prayed for me, over me and with me during all the hardest parts of my life. Amber was my voice of reason, my confidant, and my biggest fan. And Justin was always there to make us laugh and ground us when we needed it the most. They were in our wedding, and they were in ours. They were in our wedding, we were in theirs, sorry. We spent many weekends together, standing up entirely too late, watching any alien movie or silly vine we could get our hands on. Then when our children came, we were at their births, waiting outside at the door for the minute we could hold each other's babies and check on each other. We started to create our own traditions with our babies, like family vacations, pumpkin patch trips, and trick-or-treating. But you see, that was all before. Now, we're in the after. A big piece of my husband and I died that day too. So much joy was stolen from our lives, our innocence, our peace of mind. Our home is now lit up outside 24/7, surrounded by cameras monitoring every corner, every blind spot. Our life is full of ring notifications or Life 360 alerts. Any little noise in the middle of the night wakes us up and strikes fear. I can't even come home at night without fear that someone's watching my every move. And that's just how I feel. Imagine how Amber's dad feels, or how Justin's parents feel. That type of fear never goes away. That monster took away our sense of security, even in our own homes. Now we're forced to live a life in a world that none of us asked or planned for. Amber and Justin never got to see our daughter Peyton, their goddaughter, start school, or see her passion for dance or cheer, or attend a recital, and they won't be there for any of the most important moments of her life. They'll never meet our other two daughters, Quinn and Brooke, who I know they would have loved beyond measure, and they would have taken them under their wing as any good godparents do. Because they weren't just incredible parents, they were amazing godparents too. Always loving Peyton as if she were their own. I needed them for all those moments, and I still need them for moments to come. I need them next to me in the row in church on Sundays. That's where their absence is felt the most. They may have always been a little late because Amber needed her start days, but Justin needed his Duncan, and they were going to get both. Always. But they were there, worshiping their Savior and praying for each other and others because that's who they were. They were believers. They are believers. Even though my last image of them at church is their lifeless bodies laying in their coffins in front of the altar, I know they're still worshiping beside me. It's just from heaven now. Yes, I know where they are and that I'll see them again one day because of their love for Christ, and for that I'm grateful. I sure could use an Amber hug right now. But this is not the life I planned for, or the life they planned for. On November 17, 2021, they took their son into bed and sat down for some well-deserved time together. Just 2 more days and the weekend would be here, their first full weekend together in a while. They had plans to decorate for Christmas and were so excited. Decorating a big new house, a girl's dream. Then that monster decided to steal that from them. Why? And we may never know. But Your Honor, these 2 humans, Amber and Justin Hicks, were 2 literal angels on earth. It sounds so cliche, but it was the truth. Living their day to day, putting nothing but good into this crazy world, and that monster stole everything from them in less than 10 minutes. Everything from us, and absolutely everything from Jacob in 10 minutes. Now they will never see Jacob grow up, go to school, start driving, get a job, get married, and start a family. They will miss every single moment of his life. And Amber lost her mom. After Amber lost her mom as a baby, this would have been her worst nightmare. Jacob to grow up without his mom and his dad. They did everything right, and it wasn't enough. Jacob will carry this trauma with him forever. That pain can never be erased, and for what? Amber and Justin had so much life to live, and that monster, I said over there, he's not here, stole that from all of us. They deserve to grow old and experience so much more that the world had to offer. But that monster did not steal everything. He will not steal our ability to speak their names every single day. We will continue to speak their names and their memories, especially for Jacob. We'll make sure the world remembers just who this monster stole from us. I know that my God calls me to forgive, but I'm not there yet. And my husband will certainly never forgive this monster. One day he'll meet his ultimate judgment, and what a day that will be. Today, though, Your Honor, we ask you to sentence him to the maximum extent of the law. Lock him away and throw away the key, and we may never have to see his face again.
That water is there for you.
Yeah, thanks. I need that.
Okay.
On November 17th, 2021, two of the best people anyone could ever know were carelessly taken from this world at the prime of their lives. Justin was working his way to become a paramedic, and Amber was ready to settle into the role that she was made for, a mother dedicated full-time to her children. I say children because every person in here who knew her knows that she would have at least had 3 by now. I would like the defendant to know that he's not the only person in this world who has suffered loss. Amber lost her mother at just 3 months old. Her father, Mark, raised her all on his own, and she had to grow up without a mother. I remember vividly as kids, her staying the night at my house and us talking endlessly about her mom and where she would be right now, how much they looked alike, and how she used to be a model, how she had her eyes, how the number one thing she wanted to be when she grew up was a mother. He took that from her. He took that from Jacob. He took that from her father, her family, and her friends. But the one thing he will never take from her or Justin is the love that they had for that little boy. Thanks to the defendant, Jacob has a village in the hundreds backing him for the rest of his life. And there will not be a day that goes by without him knowing who they were and what they stood for, how amazing they were, and how proud of him they would be. I know Amber, and I know she would say that she forgives the defendant. I can't speak for Justin, but I feel as if he would say the same thing. However, I have never and will never be the angels that they were and will always be now. I will never forgive him. There is no taking back or undoing what he's done. He has done a disservice to this world by taking these two people out of it. He ambushed and gunned them down in their own home like they were animals trespassing on his property, when in reality, he came into their home with their baby asleep upstairs and murdered them in cold blood without a single thought behind it. Callus doesn't even begin to describe the creature he is. He is inhumane, he is heartless, he is a monster. And I know that if given the opportunity, he would do it again. Because people like him don't care about the cause and effect. He will always be the victim, he will always be the catalyst. He is dangerous, and I will be dead before I watch him put another family through this, put another child through this. It is because of this, Judge, I beg you to sentence the defendant to life with no possibility of parole. For Jacob and the future he had ripped from him on the night of November 17th, 2021. Thank you.
Mary. Thank you. Attorney Horowitz, you can call the next witness.
Thank you, Judge. At this time, the state calls Kristen Bauer.
Will you just read her statement?
Just read, okay. And she planned on speaking, Judge, but she actually wrote out her statement, so I'm going to read it on her behalf.
Will you mark that as sentencing to and admit that?
I can do that. Yes, Judge. And it reads, Your Honor, my name is Kirsten Bauer, and that's KIRSTYNBAUER, and then in parentheses, Boggs, BOGGS. Amber and I are cousins, but if I ever said that, she would correct me saying, no, you're my sister. We were only 2 years apart, both July babies. Amber was an only child due to the loss of her mother just 2 months after she was born. We were inseparable as kids. If she went, I went. She was my big sister, my maid of honor, my best friend for life. Now I'm here and she's not. It's not fair. They should be here today. Amber and Justin were the kindest people I have ever met. When people say they had hearts of gold, they truly did. I want to take everyone back to our childhood days. What a lot of people don't know is our grandparents lived 2 doors down from the Hicks family. We all grew up together playing in each other's yards or riding bikes. One day, Justin looked at me while while we played in their yard and said, I'm going to marry Amber one day. Remind you, we were only kids. They were 12 at this time. I looked at him with my 10-year-old self and said, you're crazy, and laughed. How could you know that? He said, I love that girl. His brother Michael and I busted out laughing like, whatever. Fast forward to 2017, his dreams came true. The most beautiful bride walked down the aisle as to the love of her life. I've seen Justin as a grown man cry of joy that day. Lord, my sister Amber was the most beautiful bride I have ever seen. If you knew her, she just had the most beautiful smile that would light up a room that day. It was a courtyard filled with loved ones. Early November 2021, Amber was so excited to host Thanksgiving in their new beautiful home. She couldn't wait to have the family over. She said, I love Christmas, so we were going to go ahead and decorate before Thanksgiving, so be prepared, Kirsten. It's always a running joke with us. I always said Christmas comes after Thanksgiving. She didn't care. As you have seen in the photos, she didn't spare an inch of ceiling space for that Christmas tree. She wanted the biggest and the best. The second hardest thing I have ever had to do is shatter my son Braden's world. I had to go come the 18th and tell my son his Aunt Amber and Uncle Justin were no longer here. They are now with the Lord. He was 9 then. He understood and had so many questions. But his first question was, what about Jacob? How is he? Is he okay? Where is he? At that moment, my sweet, kind heart boy couldn't even have emotions till he knew his baby cousin was okay. Once I told him he was okay, you could see his world shattered and all of his memories and love came crashing down on him. When our babies hurt, we hurt even more. Jacob brings us so much love and joy. I see so much of both of his parents in him. He is so kind-hearted and always checking on you if you look sad or even raise your voice a little. We were at the beach in July, and my son is now a teenager, and he must have done something I didn't agree with, so I kind of yelled his name across the pool. Sweet Jaden got out of the pool and walked over to me on the edge and said, "Hey, Aunt KK, I just wanted to check on you to see if you were okay." He just melted my heart. This is my mother and father coming out in him. They were always checking on everyone and spreading the love. I just can't stop thinking about our sweet Jacob and how this is going to act him the rest of his life. He left the cutest little boy, Jacob, orphaned. He will never have a normal birthday, Christmas, and get to see his mommy and daddy watch him graduate, get married, or celebrate any life accomplishments he has. We as a family will try and fill that void, but no one can ever truly take his parents' place. Amber had just had a miscarriage the month prior. They wanted to add to their family so bad, but now our sweet Jacob will forever be labeled an only child. That was not supposed to happen. They wanted to fill that beautiful home with a couple more children. He was never supposed to live this life without his parents and siblings. Like I said, we can't fill that void ever, but we will try and surround him with all the love and support we can. When I say he has a village, that village is thousands and thousands of people. Cherokee County Fire and emergency personnel has been here immensely for sweet Jacob and family. Blood does not make family, and we have learned that through this entire process. This courtroom has been filled with just 1% of the people that love them and care for them. I honestly believe we could wrap this building multiple times with the amount of people that these two beautiful souls truly impacted. What Amber and Justin thought was their dream home later became their worst nightmare, along with everybody else that loved them. Our hearts will honestly be forever shattered with the loss of these two beautiful souls. Nothing can ever bring them back. What he did is not human behavior. What he did was acts of a savage animal. He sat there and preyed on them like a savage animal. He should be treated as such and locked in a cage for the rest of his life. Thank you, Your Honor, for helping us get justice for Amber and Justin.